continues to lose advertisers from her Fox News show after ridiculing mass murder survivor David Hogg, a high school senior at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Today on MSNBC, when asked if he accepted Laura Ingram's apology that she tweeted yesterday, David Hogg said this.
No, because realize this. In the same tweet where she apologized to me, she tried promoting her show at the same time, and I just found that sickening.
Also sickening to many Catholics and other Christian Holy Week observers was Laura Ingram's dragging Holy Week into her apology. She said, on reflection, in the spirit of Holy Week, I apologize for any upset or hurt my tweet caused him or any of the brave victims of Parkland. That provoked me and many others to ask if Laura Ingraham would have apologized on any other of the 51 weeks of the year, and to ask in what spirit was her original insulting tweet, since it was also written during Holy Week. Anna Marie Cox, Jason Johnson, and Jonathan Capehart are back with us. Anna Marie, I want to get your assessment of where this particular controversy stands. And while you're speaking, I would like to put up a graphic of the 13 companies, their names that have pulled their ads from Fox News since they're not advertising on Fox News at this hour. America should still know that these companies are in business and would like to do business with them. Go ahead, Anna Marie.
Well, in the spirit of Infrastructure Week, yes. I'd like to slightly change topics. I'll just go off topic. Well, the larger issue for me is that David Hogg specifically, the Parkland students in general, but David Hogg specifically seems to have triggered, let's say, all these snowflakes on the right in this extreme way. Like, I'm fascinated that they are so activated by them and by him in particular. I can't quite put my finger on what it is about these children, really, these kids, these students, that is so upsetting, that they find so intimidating, quite frankly. I wonder if it's their idealism, or I wonder if it's the sense that when you see young people this motivated, this organized, you know that this is the biggest threat that there is to, the standing order. These
Jason,
young people are... Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, okay. This is part of it.
I was going to see, Jason, do you have an answer to Anna Marie's question about what is it that gets people like Laura Ingraham going with these kids?
Because they're young, well-spoken white kids. And they're supposed to be, and that's supposed to be the bailiwick of the Republican Party. They're young, unspoken, they're young, and they're attractive, and they're appealing. And think about this. Wasn't it just about a month ago that Laura Ingraham was saying shut up and dribble and was insulting, dozens and dozens of African-American athletes? No one was trying to boycott her then. But when she says something about young white kids who have suffered through a tragedy, suddenly everybody wants to say something. I am glad that David Hogg, I'm glad he had the clap back. I'm glad he said, I don't accept your apology. I'm glad that she's losing all these advertisers. My problem is if she gets canceled, she'll end up in the White House. So that might be worse.
I also wanted to point out, David Hogg is the one that's pointed out that it's the people of color, the students of color at Parkland that haven't got the attention that he has. That Parkland's about 25% minority, and the students that have gotten a lot of attention, including David Hogg, have pointed out that the media has done a disservice to these other kids who have some specific reasons for not wanting, let's say, more armed teachers in their school.
Right.
They haven't gotten the voices that maybe David himself has, although I think it's not his fault.
Oh, yes.
And Jonathan, of course, we know if Laura Ingraham does go from Fox News to the White House, she will lose influence over Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. She's never more powerful than she is right now if she wants to influence the president of the United States. Look, I think the power of David Hogg is in the responses from both Anna Marie and from Jason, and that is, here's a well-spoken white kid who cares about all of his friends. He is not simply complaining and speaking out because he himself suffered some tragedy. He deeply cares. I think you showed in the B-roll when he came here to Washington in the run-up to the March for Our Lives, he went to a school here in Washington and talked about the fact that he is there and recognizes that because of his privilege and his background, a lot of attention is paid on him and the students of Parkland, but he recognizes and knows that the kids in that room and other African-American kids and kids of color have been dealing with this for a long time, and he wants to use that power to help everyone, and that disrupts the order that Laura Ingraham is so desperate to hang on to. But as Jason knows, as Anna Marie knows, as you know, Lawrence, as everyone who's watching this show actually knows, that America and world that Laura Ingraham is fighting so hard to maintain, it's gone. It doesn't exist and hasn't for a long time now.
And Anna,
well, I was going to say it's gone, except
go ahead.
Well, I was going to say it's gone unless it can be held together with the threat of violence. I mean, quite frankly.
Right.
I mean, that is what can hold the proceeding power together.
When do you think President Trump is going to get into this fight with Laura Ingraham and her sponsors? Let's put those sponsors up as Anna answers this again, so the president can know this weekend exactly which, so far, 13 companies he has to attack on Twitter.
I don't actually wish this, because I know it would do bad things for the lives of the students, but part of me wants him to go after the students, because that's classic Trump. That is Trump. Talk about punching down, right? Like, that is the kind of thing he would do. I bet he is itching to go in and do that. And that is, by the way, the kind of thing a good communications director would keep someone from doing. And so, you know what, maybe if he does become his own communications director, that's the kind of thing he will do. He might try to get into a proxy war with the students using Laura Ingraham's advertisers. I mean, he'll do whatever they say on Fox and Friends. I mean, like, honestly, honest to God, I think there was a rumor going around that one of the candidates for the VA, like, Trump thought he would do more good on Fox and Friends than at the VA. And you know what? He is correct. He is totally correct. The couch is the couch is next to the Oval Office. The curvy Fox and Friends house is actually adjacent to the Oval Office.
And it's our turn to squeeze in a commercial now. Anna Marie Cox, thank you for joining the discussion. Coming up, be careful when you step off that plane from London at Boston's Logan Airport, because you might get hit with a subpoena from the